Whoa! Hey everybody, Mr. Dude here. Hey guys, I owe everyone a massive oopsie apology for my last video. I was way off with screen space reflections in my haste to create content. I didn't do enough research and diligence as somebody who's still learning the ins and outs and clarifying things of doing technical analysis videos, so bear with me as we learn together. This whole thing reminds me of a dream I used to have where I'm wearing a hand puppet in front of everybody, and the hand puppet keeps pulling my pants down in front of everyone. But this time I was actually awake and I wasn't wearing a hand puppet. So forgive me and bear with me. I appreciate the candid feedback and keep it coming, please. So let's really talk about what screen space reflection is, and out of a sense of repentance and self-flagellation, I can demonstrate what I've learned and that I've truly learned from my errors. This time I actually checked my sources. So screen space reflections shipped in games starting back in 2011 with Crysis 2's DirectX 11 update built on CryEngine 3. It was originally marketed as real-time local reflections. The underlying research behind it goes even further back to around 2008. So depending on how you count it, this tech is somewhere between 13 and 15 years old. Either way, this is not new. The technique became the gold standard for rendering wet pavement, puddles, and glass through the PS4 and Xbox One generation. Guerrilla Games have a great public breakdown of their SSR system in Killzone Shadowfall back in 2013. Genuinely one of the best deep dives on this if you want to nerd out on it. And you saw it everywhere from there, GTA 5 and plenty of others. So fast forward to today with Oblivion Remastered, they've taken that legacy tech and given players the option to toggle it on or off, with Unreal Engine's rendering pipeline working in tandem to give players what they want. Harkening back to my last video, the conclusion still holds. Do what you like on the Switch too. Some differences are negligible. It is very scene dependent. You can leave it on during your entire playthrough or leave it off and you're still going to have a wonderful time with Oblivion on Switch 2. So how is this relevant to how the Switch 2 handles the Oblivion Remastered experience? The game specifically runs on Unreal Engine 5, which uses Lumen, a global illumination system for realistic lighting and reflections. Lumen actually leans on screen space techniques as part of how it works. So on a power-constrained device like the Switch 2, that connection matters. That's where the nuance comes in with the performance hits. As just demonstrated in my last video, we could see that macro scenes with big landscapes versus scenes that maybe are close to the Imperial City or internal inside cells, you might see performance vary. So you can test this yourself and let me know what you see. Toggle it on, toggle it off in different scenes across the map, and let me know. On the hardware side, this game is running on an Nvidia T239 chip Ampere architecture, confirmed by teardowns and Nintendo's own official specs. That's the same GPU lineage behind modern Nvidia graphics cards. It's just scaled way down to a mobile chip. And for the power draw, right? And now, last video I said and kind of alluded that some things that may not have been fully true, and for that I apologize. But what I did verify is that there is technically a patent filed by Nintendo for DLSS-style AI upscaling. And I think this is where I may have gotten conflated with some other things. But I'm not here to justify what I said. I own it, and I made a mistake in my previous video. But Nintendo is working on better upscaling that can indirectly clean up smaller visual artifacts across the board, reflections included. So if Nintendo keeps pushing that upscaling tech through firmware, we might see incidental improvements. So where does this leave us? SSR isn't some cheap afterthought Bethesda and Virtuous bolted on to the port. It's over a decade of rendering research, getting adapted to fit inside the Switch 2's power budget, and honestly, it's kind of impressive on its own. The real takeaway from my testing is that the performance cost isn't a flat tax across the whole game. It is scene dependent. In some areas, the hit is generally small enough that you will not even notice it. So my advice, now that I've actually done the homework, if you're chasing the smoothest possible frame pacing, turn it off. But if you want more reflection heavy experience, leaving it on isn't going to wreck your experience. And I demonstrated that in the last video. And look, to conclude, I want to be straight with you about why this correction video exists. I put out a video making a technical claim I hadn't fully verified. I was deeply confused. Some of you caught it and you were right to call it out. And that's not a bad thing. That is the system working the way it is supposed to be. I'd rather have a small channel that gets it right than a bigger one that doesn't earn your trust. So going forward, if I'm going to talk specs, patents, or hard technical claims, I'm checking and double checking my sources before it goes into my script. And so that's on me, and I'm not going to make any excuses about it. So if you're new here, stick around. I hope that I've earned your trust. I hope we could explore ways to capture frame data and technical abilities of the Switch 2 and how it may compare to PC games, how certain PC builds can replicate the Switch 2 experience. And again, if you ever catch me slipping again, just tell me. I love it. I think that's generally how this channel gets better. So thanks for watching, and thanks for holding me accountable, guys. I'll see you in the next one.